The excitement, I was talking to my grandma about this today. When you get married, everyone who's gotten married probably knows exactly what we're talking about. The anticipation for the 48 hours leading up to the wedding, then the wedding day. Then you have this experience that you could never imagine.
Yep.
I never could imagine what it felt like. And then you get to like party, and we didn't even sleep much that night, but you're on such an adrenaline high.
Yep.
Then we released our video on Friday, and that carried us through the weekend. And then around like Monday or today, I was explaining it's like the plane landing.
Oh my gosh.
We were on such a high, and now we're kind of getting back into just the normal like routine without knowing like this big day is coming.
I know. It's crazy how adrenaline works that way, because even leading up to the wedding, just no sleep at all. Even our wedding night, I mean, like 5.5 hours, maybe. There's so much going on. And then, like you said, maybe it was Sunday for me that I kind of felt the exhaustion. I was like, okay, I need to sleep. I need to rest. I need to feel better. But it was just the coolest day of my life. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I'm still just so amazed by the whole entire thing. And but yeah, let's hop right in the episode so we can start digging into it. And then also we took to Instagram to ask questions. So there's only a few that I've seen, and then you haven't showed me yours. So we're gonna throw all these questions out and see how many we can get to today. But I want to tell everyone Happy New Year. This is our first podcast of 2021. We want to thank you all for the well wishes, the congratulations on our wedding, and for your support throughout the years, months, days, however long you've been here. If you're new, hello. We are just so appreciative for all of you. And so let's hop into it here. Welcome everyone to the Freddie and Alyssa Show. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like, comment, all that fun YouTube stuff. If you're watching on Facebook, like and follow the page. And if you're listening on a platform like iTunes and you want to leave us a 5-star review if you think we deserve it, that would be awesome. We have been making content for over 3.5 years now, and we're having an absolute blast. And I just want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I know Alyssa and I just are so happy and appreciative for all of you, and we can't say it enough. So thank you very much. So what do you want to hop into first? Where do we even start?
Well, first of all, let's start with the cheers. Unfortunately, this isn't a fun drink, it's coffee. So
we had enough fun drinks for a little while.
But I want to show everyone these really cool little mugs and glasses that your aunt and uncle got us.
Yeah, thank you, Auntie Tracy and Uncle Doug. These are awesome. I love that they keep hot things hot and cold things cold, so that works perfectly for us.
That is some cold coffee, some cold brew.
Yeah, it'll keep
delicious.
it nice.
Starbucks?
It is, yeah, the cold brew.
Love that. So where do we want to start? Because what's really crazy, you guys might have seen a clip from our producers podcast. We did a podcast 2 days, 48 hours before our wedding. So that was such a different energy because we had so much still to do. We were really nervous. We hadn't tied the knot yet. And then now, like you said, there's some relief. And like now we're just going into 2021. It was such an amazing day. But I guess where I'd like to start for you, in the very beginning, like when we first got to the Four Seasons, what were you feeling? What were you thinking? And did you feel like the day went quickly? Do you feel it went slow? What were you focused on? What was your just overall experience?
I think the day went pretty like normal speed. It didn't feel like it was taking forever. It didn't feel like it went by in a flash of an eye or blink of an eye. I really felt like I was living in the moment of that day. And I also think we have to take into consideration that we haven't been going out and being around people forever. Right. So on top of it being your wedding day, on top of us putting out a video, and then on top of that, I was just excited to be out of the house.
Yeah.
And we were a little nervous 6 weeks leading up to the wedding because we wanted to make sure we stayed healthy. So once we were there on wedding day and I knew I woke up feeling good, I was like, oh, we're good. We're in.
Sure.
Like, here we go. We're getting married. But it was nice being around people.
Yeah.
You know, even when Liz showed up to do your hair and makeup and just being around people because we haven't been.
In a long time.
So the whole crew and everybody there who was very helpful at the Four Seasons and you know the entire camera crew and just everybody, it was just nice to be somewhere.
somewhere.
And being around people, you kind of feel like a star for the day.
Yeah.
Everyone's waving and clapping at you, and so I really soaked it in. As much as I, self-sabotage good moments sometimes, I didn't.
You didn't.
It was
You were
perfect.
so
I was
good.
so present, and I enjoyed every single moment, and everything went 100% perfect.
Yeah.
So right back at you. How would you answer that?
Well, I mean, what's crazy is the second we left our house, originally, let's start here. Our check-in was supposed to be at noon. And we called morning of, and they were like, yeah, you guys can come earlier. And we're like, oh, thank goodness, because hair and makeup, she wanted to come at 11:30 just to give us enough time so that by 3 o'clock we'd be ready for pictures with the ceremony at 4. So we get there early, we get to the hotel, everything's great. And literally as we're unpacking, we get a call from the front desk and they're like, oh, hey, hair and makeup's here. Can we send her up? And we're like, hey, you know what? Great, like bring her on up. Because at this point, I think it was like maybe like 10 to 11.
Yeah.
So she was early, which ended up being a lifesaver at the very end. Like we needed all of that time with her. So she comes up. Liz is absolutely amazing. I found her through Instagram because I'm really specific with the type of makeup I want. And so I went on this deep dive on Instagram and I found her. And she came and her energy and vibe was just so wonderful. I was like, oh, we're going to hit it off. She gets set up. We get a little room service. And I started doing TikToks because I was like, I need to make sure I get some freaking transition TikToks because there's nothing, cooler than seeing a bride go from, no makeup to done up, because how often do you get your hair and makeup done? So as she's doing my hair and makeup, we're going, and I was like, okay, hold on a second. I'm running into the bathroom and I'm trying to get all these positions. And once she started doing my hair and makeup, you had to go in the other room. So it was really cool. They set us up with the suite where I got to be in the actual, bedroom, and you were more like in the living area, and you had your own bathroom, which saved us so much time. So here we are. It's, going from 11:30 to 12 to 1. And I'm not kidding you. For me, that part went really, really fast. Like getting ready, I remember going into it thinking, there's so much that has to be done. I want to make sure we get our TikToks. I want to make sure when the videographer comes that we get those shots of my dress and that they're able to bring it back in time and that I'm able to get dressed in time. Because if you guys watched it and you saw the back of the dress, I needed to kind of be like tied into it, and it wasn't something I could do myself. Since we eloped, it was just us. I was like, I need someone to help me. So as we're there trying to get the pictures, because they came at 3 p.m., photographer and videographer, they showed up they showed up early too.
Yeah, 2:30. 2:30. Victoria and Jacob and the whole team was so amazing. We needed that extra half hour. I'm so happy they came early.
Yeah, because they showed up, and first Victoria, the photographer, she was going through and I mean, she was doing so good. Like, she meant business. She's like, okay, can I see all the details? Can I see your ring bands? Oh, can I grab this bridal robe that I had? Because she's like, I want to use it in the shot, and your veil, and your shoes. And she was just going, and I'm still getting my hair and makeup finished up. And so she's doing her thing. She goes and takes my dress. She races down and gets the shot of it, brings it back up, and then at this point, Liz, she had another client because, it was New Year's Eve. So she had to run, which was totally great. We were all done. And I was like, oh, don't worry, Victoria, help me in my dress. And she ended up doing that. So I'm not kidding you. I had to FaceTime with my family. I was like, I have to FaceTime with them before I go down the aisle. And we had like 20 minutes to spare. So it was just me up in the room, and we did it really quickly. And then I was like, I have to FaceTime my girl Brooke real quick. She was waiting all day, literally for 1 minute, did it quickly, said goodbye. And then for me, we were walking through the hotel lobby, and I was walking to the staircase. And like you said, it was so cool because everyone stops. Everyone goes, oh my gosh, congrats. Oh my God, you look amazing. And it was so sweet because there were so many little girls there because we're in Walt Disney World. And they're like, princess, because it's like a big princess dress. But walking down, I was walking with Victoria, the photographer, and we're walking to the staircase. And I remember having a conversation with her, but my heart was also just kind of pounding because I was about to do this, and I was like, thank God she's here to talk to me, because I needed to get my mind straight. And then they had me situated right in front of that big Christmas tree that right before you go down the staircase. And she had to go and get, pictures because you were about to walk down the aisle. And I had about a minute to myself. And I said a prayer to my grandpa. And I just, because I was like freaking out. I don't know what I'm going to, here we go again. Didn't I cry enough? But I said a prayer to Gramps, and more little girls were walking by, and I remember I'm like, focus on the little girls, stop crying, stop crying. And then the wedding coordinator, Laura, finally comes up, and she's getting everything situated, and I was like, thank God she's here, because at that moment I want to burst into tears because I was so excited to marry you. But I go, if I cry now, it will not stop. That was my biggest thing, that I wanted to make sure that I could get through all of this, because the second I have the waterworks, I go, it's done. I'm done for. So I was focusing on my conversation with her. I was like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. And then she and I were talking, and then down at the bottom of the stairs, the videographer, they were like, okay, guys, we're ready. And so I start, and I said thank you to her, and I go down. And the number one thing, I know I've talked about this before, I just didn't want to trip, because the dress is really long and the veil was really long. And what's interesting with my dress is it was a longer dress, but underneath it was a little bit shorter. Going down the stairs, I had to pull the dress to the side, hold this. So there was a lot of leg, like you said too, because when you walk normally, you can't see the leg. But going down the stairs, I didn't realize it was going to be.
Yeah, it was very like legs.
It was leggy as heck. But you know what? New Year's Eve elopement. What you gonna do? And I finally get down that first grand staircase, and I'm like, okay, you just got one more big staircase and you're good. That was my big thing. So then they open the doors. I do the other grand staircase. I'm going. I'm like, okay, you're good. You got this. And then I keep going. And then there was one more little staircase. I'm like, girl, you're almost there. You got this. And as I was going, my veil got stuck on the ground.
I saw that, yeah.
When you watch it back. And so I tried to, as like nonchalantly as possible, grab it. I was like, okay, veil, get back. I was like, this is what happens when you elope with no one there to help with your veil.
I remember it got stuck, but you recovered quickly.
Yes. Did you see that when you were down there, or only on the video?
No, when I saw it happen in real time, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, then from there, when I finally got to you, I was so excited, and I have to tell you, seeing your face and your emotion, I was like, Alyssa, you can't break down, because if you break down, you're not even going to be able to talk. But the love and the excitement and the butterflies and just like the true pure excitement and joy of that moment, it was, I want to take that feeling and bottle it up so that I can always remember it.
It's very unique.
Yeah.
It's a very, very unique experience, because we've done a lot in front of camera in our life. We've done events, and we've been, for a lack of a better word, but like in the spotlight,
sure,
like you are at a wedding. Like we're kind of used to that. That's what our career's been for over a decade, and this was completely different than anything I've ever done. And there's just something about you really almost like think about how much you love the person more that day than you would. You have moments in life you're like, well, I really love this, I really love you, but that day when you're thinking about the moment, I think that's what's happening. You're tapping into like how you truly feel, and it gets you emotional. Because how often do you sit and think about like, oh yeah, like this is how much I love someone, and here's the backstory and all of that.
So then when you left the hotel room, you went with the videographer and team, and then you went downstairs. Did they tell you to go to the bottom? Because didn't you go wait where we were getting married, and they're like, oh no, come back because you have to walk to the song?
Yeah, so I originally went down, and I was going to stand right there, and we kind of did the shots with the camera, where Jacob was like, hey, come stand right here, move right here. He wanted to get the perfect shot. And then there was another gentleman there who came up and said, so here's the songs, and we're going to play these. And I said, I was like, I don't think I'm walking to a song. We're just going to start here, and it's going to open on
Little
Alyssa.
did you know.
And yeah, and then Reverend Glenn actually said, hey, come on up here. You're going to walk down to the song.
Because this was before the live stream.
Yes.
It hadn't started.
It hadn't started. And so then I walk up to the stairs, and I stood on the stairs for like a minute. Mm-hmm. And then when I got the thumbs up from Jacob that it was starting. But the funny thing in the live stream, I forgot I was taking deep breaths, but I was mic'd.
Aww.
So in the video we cut together,
So
we didn't have that of me walking down. But I was like,
That's so cute, though.
like I was just kind of like shaking out any nerves. And then, yeah, I just got to walk down. And then when I waited for you, it was great. I just saw you come down, and it was beautiful.
Aww. Yeah, because I was working with Reverend Glenn, and I picked this song for you to walk down. It was this cover of Let's Get Married by Arlene. I can't remember her last name, but she kind of changes the point of view, and she's saying she can't wait to marry her man. And like I was like, I don't know if he's actually gonna really focus on the lyrics and listen to what she's saying.
I never do.
I was like, but if he does, maybe it will be sweet. But I figured she probably.
No, I didn't hear anything. It was just kind of I just had so much on my plate, and it's like both of it. And I was just like, I'm aware I'm getting married, but I was just super aware of what we were shooting.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like I'm focusing just on getting married, and I don't care if I turn the wrong way, if it's not a good shot, who cares? So I had both in my mind of like, all right, you're walking down, make sure you turn right, look perfect, make sure, like I was shooting it as a production as well as my wedding day. So I was talk about business and pleasure at the exact same thing. So that's why when I'm going through it, it's like I have two answers.
Yeah.
Because if this was if we weren't really getting married and we were just like filming a movie, you would only talk about the business part because the filming of it would be fake.
Sure.
But we're actually getting married, and we're actually filming what could be a production.
Yeah.
What was a production.
Absolutely.
So I kept thinking of all of that stuff. But yeah, I just got there. We took some pictures, and that was it. I took a couple sips of water and was ready to go. And I was really happy they kept you on time, because I knew for sure. I was like, you won't be, if it was up to you, you would have got down at 4:40.
Listen, I was ready to go, and I was the one who said, okay, let's go. But before we left the hotel room, because I literally have been going nonstop. There was just not a second to think. I didn't have any water, didn't have deodorant on, so I literally said to the girls, I go, guys, I need deodorant. I'm going to grab a mitt, and I'm grabbing water, and then I'm ready to go. And then I did all of that. We went down, it happened. But for me, when it comes to like the production end of it, because the day was so busy, I didn't have a chance to myself to like go over my vows, because we, did our own vows. If we were just kind of repeating, it would have been, I feel, less stressful.
Yeah.
Because I knew that here we are like professing our love after nearly a decade together. I wanted it to really mean something. So I wrote my vows probably like the day before, and I had thought about them, but I thought I was going to have some time to myself to practice. Well, I didn't. So I was like, all right, well, you have them in front of you. Like, just go down, speak from your heart, wing it, and do it. And like, I was just so happy how it all turned out, because the other thing too, I initially in the email said, hey, I would love if I could do my vows first, because I knew if you did yours first, I was like, I'm just going to lose it. My biggest issue was once I started crying, I wouldn't be able to stop. That's just how I am. And I was very surprised when we were there. And they're like, okay, Freddie can go first. And I was like, all right, Alyssa, it is what it is. Listen to your man with all your heart, and you've got this. And you did it. And it just like hit my soul, my heart, just so hard. And I was so happy. And then when I finally got to be done with mine, I was like, okay, that was my moment of, whew.
Yeah.
Now we can go.
So you had to listen while knowing you still had to go.
Yes, that's why I didn't fully break down.
When he told me I could go first, I was like, oh, great. I would love to go first.
Because I told you, I was like, oh, babe, I'm going to go first.
Yeah.
So you were surprised. I was surprised.
But it was great. It was nice to be able just to talk, and it helped actually improvising for me. I was going to go back to my vow book for the vows, because I wanted to hit like all the vows, but then...
Did you look at your book?
I was going to just open it to glance at all the things that I wanted to mention, like Blockbuster Airport, like all the things that we've done. And then I wanted to go back to the book for my list of vows.
Right.
But I never went back to the book for the vows, so I forgot them. So at the end, I just go, I vow to be like honest, to always love you, and you're my best friend. I only said 2 things because I didn't go back to my book to do the vows that I had written.
Gotcha.
I just like lost my spot at the end because it just kind of went so
Yeah,
fast.
I did it opposite because my little story in the beginning, I had that down in my vow book, like the points. But I was like, you know the story, just freaking say it. Like, tell it as you remember it. And then my vows were on like page 3 or 4. And so I was like, okay, now open your vow book and make it look like normal and natural and try and find your page and don't waste too much time. And then luckily it all worked out. But I looked for my vows because I was like, I just don't want to mess those up. But the story, I was like, if I mess it up, it's a story. No one really knows. But
Yeah.
But it's so funny we did it opposite, but I was nervous about trying to find my page in there. Because for me, I was like, I kind of like stuttered when I first started talking about you after I was like, yeah, I was so awestruck at the man standing in front of me. You wildly exceeded my wildest dreams and expectations. And then I start talking about how great you are, what a good person you are. And that's where I was trying to find it. Because I was like, I don't want to miss all these key points. And then the vows, I knew exactly where they were. So
Yeah, I wish I'd went back to the vows. I just had a couple there, but
they were amazing.
I wanted to do like a little bit more of them, but yeah, it was cool. And then the only other part that was really interesting is when it got to the part where we had to repeat. Like, you and I never thought during this whole time to go over what he was going to say.
No.
Reverend Glenn, like as soon as we picked out what we wanted, we haven't for any of it. Because when he was reading it, I was like, is he adding? I literally thought he added stuff. I go, we
wouldn't know.
We didn't have all this. And then when I heard love is patient, love is kind, I go, oh, so this is what we picked. And then, but yeah, as he was reading at the beginning, I was like, is this what we chose? I forgot. And then at the end, he goes, now repeat after me.
I know, and I was like,
oh, we didn't even go over what we're repeating. But he did just a couple words at a time, and it was beautiful. We did our I do's, and it was all great. Yeah, it
couldn't have gone better, honestly.
And that's why I'm just so grateful, because there's certain things that we'll do in life that, they don't go perfect.
Right.
And so we're always just like, we'll see, just have fun. Yeah. But there was zero complication throughout the day. Everyone that we worked with, the timing, the weather, even the sun only peeked out for a second and then went away, so it wasn't baking on our face.
Weather
like, it was amazing. Then we got to walk over and then having that cake and champagne. And I looked at my phone because I did lose track of time.
Did too.
I was thinking to myself, well, we have to go shoot pictures after this. I was like, but I don't want to be like a weirdo and look at my phone. But I was like, how much time do we have? Because during the live stream, we were moving so quick, and I just wanted a moment before our dance.
Yeah.
I was like, let's just like take a second. Yeah. But I wanted to see if we were pressing time, and I looked down. It was 4:26.
Oh, so
I in my mind thought it was going to be 4:45 by the time we got to wanting to dance, and we had them till 5. So I was like, oh, well, we need time for this dance. But I looked down, saw 4:26. I said, oh, let's just enjoy. I have a little cake. Like, we kind of hung out, had a little conversation, and then we went and danced, and that's where we picked up on the video.
Yep.
But it was kind of nice to just to have that moment. And then we got to dance, and we danced to Ed Sheeran's Thinking Out Loud.
Yes.
We couldn't put that in the video because of copyright issues.
So what's the story behind that?
Well, Thinking Out Loud came out in the fall of 2014, and it was during our car accident where you were in the hospital and you couldn't walk, and my whole life was in a tailspin at that time. And I was driving in the car, and this song came on, and the lyrics, if you look them up, Ed Sheeran is singing a song about when your legs don't work like they used to before, and you literally were not walking at the time. You could not even start rehab yet. I was in California working. You were in Ohio in the hospital. We were apart. It was a terrible time, and I just broke down, and that's always been our song, because now we're dancing together at our wedding, and it was just beautiful. But
because you called me when you heard it, and you're like, you have to hear the song, and we're like, we're gonna dance this one day at our wedding, and then we did.
Yeah, it was great.
We did. It was so special. And then too, something else that you don't really think about when you're planning a wedding, but we wanted Benji there. but you don't realize, well, if he's going to be there, who's going to watch him? What's going to happen? We wanted him to be a part of it, especially since it was just us, and Benji comes with us everywhere. And we found this awesome company called Fairy Tale Pet Care, and they come to your wedding, and it could be a small wedding, it could be a big wedding, and they just handle your doggy. So when I was like looking at their stuff the first time, if you say we had a big wedding, they have the dog in the ceremony. Some people want their dogs in the ceremony to walk down the aisle. It's like,
he won't walk.
With Benji.
He will not walk.
Just sit there. And then they'll like watch them and bring them into like cocktail hour to say hi to all of the different, guests and everything. And then at the actual wedding, the dog's there, but being, handled by someone. And they were just so wonderful. She brought this like little tuxedo for him, and I was shocked because when she first came, like Benji instantly really took a liking to her. And, Benji likes humans and stuff, but if I'm there, he generally will never want to willingly leave. And I was getting ready in the room, and she's like, okay, we're going to go for our walk. And he was on a leash and he ran out. I was like, okay, bye. Like he was so ready to go, and he loved her. And she got all this really cool footage too. There's one picture I showed where she calls it, I guess, like doggy cam, and it was of him, but I was like in the back in my dress and stuff. And so it was just so cool. Anytime we needed him for pictures, she was right there, but then also like took care of him, because, dogs can be a lot of work when you're doing something of this magnitude.
Yeah.
You don't really realize. So that, it just was so wonderful because he was there, but we didn't have to
have responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, until like whenever we got dinner or whatever. But
the stress was off at that point.
Yeah, but to get the photos and everything we needed to get, so I can't wait to see all the photos, and that's going to be really nice. But yeah, overall, I'm so happy. It's so cool to we've always talked about being married, and now we finally are.
Now we are, honey. Let's see your wedding band. Yeah, baby.
And I love how you got like this rose gold underneath the platinum, I guess, or whatever color.
Because I wanted to make sure that we matched.
Yeah.
Because generally they do that. And I thought it was super unique and cool. And it looks so good on your hand. I think sometimes when I just look down and see it, just makes me smile. Because I'm like, that's my husband.
That's right.
That's my husband. So... Anywho, yeah, it was a really, really special day, and I don't know. I wouldn't have changed a thing.
I concur. Let's hop into some questions.
Let's hop into some questions.
Faraday.
Uh-oh, is this going to be a thing now, babe?
It's a thing.
Faraday. Yes, guys, today's episode is brought to you by Faraday. It is a family-run brand fueled by purpose and optimism. They have menswear, women's wear, jewelry. You guys might have seen I've been wearing this gold screw cuff from Faraday for quite a few weeks now. And literally yesterday, I was at a doctor's appointment, and I go in, and the owner goes, oh my gosh, I love your bracelet. I love your bracelet. I'm like, thanks so much. She goes, come here real quick. And she goes over to her computer screen. She goes, you have to explain to me where you got this. Can you spell it out? So I go, funny you ask.
I've spelled it out many times.
Faraday brand. It's Faherty brand.com. And I did tell her, it's kind of a great day today because I actually have a code.
Oh, did you give her the code?
Yeah, I did. And it's Freddie Alyssa. You can get 25% off at checkout. And that's for any viewer, anyone listening. So it's just crazy because everywhere I go, I feel so many people ask me now about this. And I'm just like, I've got the info for you.
That's a true word of mouth.
Isn't it true word of mouth?
Yeah.
So if y'all are looking for some Christmas gifts, holiday gifts, whatever it might be, like I said, menswear, women's wear, accessories. They even have masks, blankets, really cute jewelry. Great company. Thank you so, so much, Faraday, for being a part of the family. And again, you guys can go to FaradayBrand.com/Freddie Alyssa and use code Freddie Alyssa for 25% out at checkout.
Well, let's just rock them out because we have a bunch.
Okay.
So we'll just kind of do rapid fire. Maybe some we'll spend like a lot of time on.
Okay.
Some, or we can just, they're like, easier answers.
First.
How long did it take to organize? It was incredible.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, we actually did not book the venue until October 21st. So before that, we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do. And I even showed on stories when originally we thought we were going to do a beach wedding. And we're like, oh yeah, it'll be really casual. We'll be barefoot. And so I had a different dress that I bought that was just super like casual boho. Because I was like, yeah, we'll be on the beach. But then that didn't work out. And we discovered the Four Seasons in Orlando. And I was like, well, maybe I should dress up a little bit more for that. So got the dress like literally as soon as we figured out that we were going to do it there. So on the 21st of October, we booked it. And literally from October 21st until a couple days before.
So about 10 weeks total then.
Yeah. And it wasn't bad. We didn't obviously do a wedding planner or anything. So it was all us, which can kind of be like a little stressful because you have a vision for your day. But they had an awesome staff there who's there every step of the way. So, yeah, we did it real quick.
We did, yeah. It was it went by really fast, but it also took up like the last 2 months of the year of what like that was our main focus, but then it wasn't in our content,
right?
So it was kind of strange,
right?
Because we kept it as a surprise. How did your family feel about you getting married without being there for you? It was tough. I mean, we talked about it at two separate occasions. We even followed up even 10 days before the wedding because we were just like, how are we going to do this without our parents there? And we all had a discussion. And the more and more we were thinking about it, we were like, God forbid something happened. It just wasn't worth it. So your parents are going to be moving here soon. So they're going to be down the street. My parents are either going to drive or if they feel comfortable flying and we can quarantine and figure out a way how to do that safely, they're going to be here. So we're going to do some sort of recreation with the parents. And, we have this house right now and there's a beautiful pergola back there and there's a little sidewalk. So I think we're going to recreate it in the future so that you can dance with your dad in person and I can dance with my mom because I'm the only child too.
Of course. And they want to see that. And I know for especially my dad and for myself with my dad, it was really difficult because that's a moment for so long that you think of that your dad's giving you away. And he even 10 days before was like, hey, what if I drove down and then I turned around and came right back? And we're like, no, you can't do that. It's just going to be too much. And just with everything happening, just didn't want to risk it. And so my dad and I did a virtual father-daughter dance, which is really sweet. But I think all of our family went into this knowing that one day we are going to have our special recreation of it.
Yeah.
So that I think everyone kind of felt a little more at ease, even for myself and my heart and being able to, go, okay, let's go through with this. It was knowing that we were going to do that. And then also, even though it was just us, and of course I would have loved our family to be there, but it created a really special moment for us, eloping, that was just really romantic and just solely about us, because I didn't have to worry about anything. There was no one around. It was just about us. It was just us doing us and proclaiming our love for one another. So it created like a really special moment that I'm really happy we got to have, if you want to look at, silver linings, I guess.
Yeah.
It was really special, but just knowing that we're going to be able to do it with our family later on, I think is what got us all through that.
Yeah, because I think we're going to do it with our parents, just like a little recreation, but then probably next New Year's around Christmas, we'll probably throw a big party.
Absolutely.
And for me too, when we thought about that, I was like, that's going to be really fun to throw a party and everyone's coming into town, but you don't have a looming event in 48 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you and I had enough going on.
You have to go perform.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting now that we can just throw a big party or tell people come for Christmas, New Year's, and just everyone's invited. Like, come, hang out, come when you can come. If you can come from the 22nd to the 24th, do that. If you can come, And so we're just going to do probably a big 2-week, whenever people can come in and out of town. And just everyone just hang out and celebrate Christmas. My mom will hate me saying this in public, but she's going to be 65 on December 17th.
Oh, wow.
My cousin Cherie's birthday is December 30th. There's Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. There's New Year's Eve, our wedding anniversary. So like all that's happening in those 2 weeks next year. So we're gonna figure it out. We just knew that we wanted to elope. We didn't want to wait to get married, and how things are looking, maybe things will be better this summer. But God forbid this goes on for another year. We didn't want to, again, another year. Like we wanted to do it.
And I think too, another draw for us with a New Year's Eve wedding was the idea that it is a big holiday, a holiday where people celebrate and want to have fun. And it's right after the holidays. And there's so much going on in that time, like you just said, that we're like, hey, maybe this is something that we could just like bada bing, bada boom, you celebrate everything at once. It finally felt right when we were going through all the different dates and ideas of where to do it. This just, the second we decided, everything just went swimmingly well. And I'm just so happy we did it.
I know. We have the New Year's Eve,
New Year's
date
Eve.
forever. Do you guys do you have a honeymoon plan?
Ooh, well, we're actually trying to figure that out right now. For us, I feel like the safest thing or what we're comfortable with doing is driving somewhere in Florida. But have you thought of any places that you'd want to go yet? I know we're kind of like just kicking ideas around.
I think doing maybe like a couple days in Miami.
Ooh.
And then do a couple days in Key West, just where we can just drive. And maybe we can even do like a little drive-by and wave to some friends in South Florida of yours. Or, or just like hang out outside and like hang out, and see people.
I think...
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I was going to say, now that the wedding's over, I just want to go and live a safe life with a mask on, but I want to start getting back out in the world.
Sure.
I'm still being careful, but I'm not going to be as those 10 weeks we're not doing anything. And now I'm just ready to go out and at least go sit in our friend's backyard 10 feet away in the sun with masks and just talk and do whatever, or whatever we have to do. So I just want to just get back out there. So we'll probably do Miami or Key West.
Key West would be so great too.
How long were you together before getting married?
Well, we got together in 2011.
Yep.
So it'll almost be a decade in like late spring, early summer.
Yeah.
I guess you could say. But our first kiss was on Cinco de Mayo 2010. So, we were friends and we had our first kiss, and then we were like, no, we can't do this. And then, that whole summer we were just friends who might have kissed from time to time. But that was about it.
4 times, to be exact. So we've known each other for 10 years. We've been dating for almost 10 years.
Yeah. Okay, so who chose the rings? Guilty.
Yeah.
I feel planned everything with all the details, but I did ask you what you wanted and I'd show you stuff and you're like, oh yeah, I like that, or I don't, for certain things. Like I didn't just buy your ring and say, wear it.
No, we looked, but you kind of, you were watching or you took care of all that.
The mastermind.
Yeah.
Is it weird having a photo staff all up in your grill? I'm an introvert and I'm getting married soon. Honestly, for me, I kind of like blacked it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was just so, there were so many things I was focusing on. Granted, it was a little different. I was like, don't trip, don't do this, don't do that. And it just kind of was what it was. But I do remember when I was telling you my vows, I could see to the right everyone. And I was like, oh yeah, this is on video and there are people watching. So, from time to time that would happen to me.
I see. I didn't have that at all.
Really?
Yeah. Because they were so far away. That's the thing when you actually have great equipment. People have those lenses that's why even on reality shows, you watch The Bachelor, it feels like they're right here. That must be awkward. They're in the park across the street. The lens zooms in that much and it just feels. So I blanked all of that out. And
you were mic'd, I wasn't.
Yeah, you forget. Yet again, I don't know if it's because of what we've done for a living all these years, but I don't think so. I think if anything, I'd be more aware of a group of people than the cameras.
Yeah.
Like I'd be aware that everyone I've ever loved and who loves me is here and came from all over the United States and they're all sitting here. To me would be wow, because we've never done that. We've been together for almost 10 years, and all my best friends from Ohio and your best friends in Florida, they've never met.
Yep.
our friends have never met. So think about all of you who are married, who have been dating a long time, all your friends who mingle. We've never had that. Has Bree and my cousins even met?
Yes, during our car accident.
So under great times. But I'm just saying, like they don't even know each other, and then our little nieces don't know each other.
Yet.
So that's why we want to try to create, like, there's got to be something in the summer that we start doing, and there's got to be the New Year's Eve that everybody in the family knows. Especially when we have, I'll piggyback this question. Especially like, someone asked about our kids in the near future. Probably in the next year or two, we'll have kids for sure, or a kid. But we don't want to. That's the thing I've been trying to do my entire life since leaving at 18 years old. I was like, how do we get all these people together? And I always said, well, it's all these scheduling, and I know it's like a pain in the ass to fly and try to get people together. And I said, but our wedding, everyone's going to have to.
Yeah.
I remember thinking everyone can pick and choose, because we've always had, we're like, hey, come to Mexico, or hey, come do this. And some people would come, others like, oh, I can't. I get it. There's times we didn't go places. I get it. But we want to start a tradition where every year the kids and the nieces and the cousins all grow up together. Yeah. And I also want to spend time with our parents. I want to spend time with our family. I want people to get to know each other, because especially for us, and I got to tell you, I think that's why I had so much pressure on the idea of people together, is we've never spent any time.
No.
Like your best friend, like let's say, Brooke knows me more than Randy and Sarah.
Right.
And that was also tripping me out. And I know people always comment and go, Freddie, you overthink everything. But that's just what I do. I find it interesting to like dive into these things. Yeah. But, like even Brett, he knows you a little bit.
Right.
Someone like Mio could give a speech, because he was our friend for all these years in California. Mike and Ariane could give a speech. Cherie knows you. Tara knows you. But there's certain friends that, like Sarah, if she gave a speech, has no personal story with me.
Right.
And she is one of your best friends, and she couldn't be like, and then, well, we all know Freddie, and everyone laughed. Like, she has zero stories about me. Randy has no stories about me. And so it was going to be just like this, like, how do we have all these people we love but they've never met, and we've never spent time together.
Sure.
Other than our little trips that we've taken, but in 2 weeks, you can't really get to know someone on a deep level.
But I think, based off of our personalities and knowing everyone, that everyone would have hit it off. It would
have been the greatest party of all time.
The best.
Yes. At the end of the day, for everyone who's going to have a virtual wedding, it's awesome. Yeah. If you can't have your family there, the virtual thing will not throw you off.
It was really special for what it was, for the situation. It really was just about us.
And the people, unless we just got lucky, but everybody just really matched the energy of caring. Yes. People, like every single person, because how many people were there helping us? 8?
8 to 12.
All of them cared as if this was our biggest day. Yeah. They matched our energy of, what can I do for you? What can I do? Like, there was no... It was just 100% across the board. Yeah. People really go above and beyond because they understand this is your wedding. Yeah. And I'm telling you, like, the feelings you have that day, you're so excited about getting married once you're there.
Yep.
And this is coming from the wet blanket of life. So it really surprised me, because things that are traditional just bug the heck out of me. Yeah. And I just, there's something so special about it that you can't, you're not thinking of anything else. I even forgot, I honestly, until we were walking to get cake, I didn't even think about the live stream.
Oh, because you were just...
Like, I didn't even have... I thought when I was going through my head that I'd be, like, looking into camera, thinking, like, oh, my parents are watching and all of this. You're so emotionally absorbed in watching your bride come down the aisle, and you being in this moment and realizing that this is happening because society has just shown you wedding, and you're just like, holy cow. It just all hits you, and then you're in this moment, and then it's just like it's over. And so there was 2 parts to it. It was or 3 parts. It was kind of like the getting ready, then you walking down in vows, and then after. Mm-hmm. And as soon as the vows were done, then the after, everything became clear.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, there's 8 people here. There's cameras everywhere. Hi everyone at home. And I was thinking of Ryan and Brett and me. Like I was like, oh, they're here watching. My aunts, like all my aunts and uncles and like everybody. I was like, wow. And yeah, and then so I would do it. You're not going to be distracted. You're so in the moment that you.
It just allows you to really focus on why you're there.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's good to have.
Yeah.
It's amazing. They've been making wedding videos since the beginning of time.
Yep.
And, with the added thing for us, it's just so cool. Like even having the 48 hours before podcast, having that forever to see what were we feeling, and then having the video and then having these conversations, because you're probably going to forget.
Of course.
And if you ever want to look, or our kids, it's going to be really cool. So I would definitely do the live stream.
Definitely. I also kept a little keepsake box. I want to put this in an album, but I kept like the menu we had, the little door hanger that we got that said Mr. and Mrs. Smith and the date on it, our notes to each other, our vow book, because those are all really special keepsakes, you know? And I kept literally everything but shocker. I'm a sentimental AF like that. I'm crazy about that stuff. So we kept that. But yeah, it was just so cool, so special. I would highly recommend it if that's a route that you're looking to go, because we had the best day ever.
Yeah, I would do it.
I think I had a couple more questions. What song did you walk down the aisle to? So this was really interesting because there is a song that I used to always play for you, and it would get stuck in our head, and it was Baby I Love Your Way, but it was by the reggae band, I can't even remember their name, Big Mountain. And we would always like listen to that song and sing it and sing it and sing it. And then I was just looking at covers of it, and I found this girl Ruth on YouTube, Ruth Mendoza, and I go, oh my gosh, this cover is so perfect. But I didn't know how to like strictly get the audio. Like I screen recorded it, and I was like, I could use this, but I was like, let me just like find her on Instagram and see if she'll send it to me. And I wrote her, and it took a couple days, and she wrote back. She goes, yeah, I'd love to email it to you. So she emails it to me. Come to find out, I think she gave birth the night we got married.
Really?
Yeah. Because I remember seeing that she was at the hospital with her newborn, and like there was so much going on, but I saw it that night we got married. I go, how weird is that?
Yeah.
Like 2 huge moments. So it was Baby I Love Your Way. It was a cover by Ruth, but I just thought like that was just meant to be. You know, it was such a beautiful version, and you couldn't hear in the video that you guys watched because of the, the restrictions and rights and everything. So, or copyrights.
Yeah.
So we had to change it a little bit, but yeah, we did that, and I just thought it's crazy. 2 really big moments on the same day with 2 strangers.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you know what this reminded me of too? I think we can mention it because I don't know whatever happened to it, but we had just so much. The first time because you and I were pitching a reality show because we wanted to have a reality show come in basically the 10 weeks that we were planning, and then the big day. We thought an 8-episode reality show of becoming Mr. and Mrs. Smith would be really interesting. Right. Is that a couple who's been together in Hollywood's gone through so many ups and downs in life, working in the entertainment industry, having a podcast, writing a book, like all the endeavors that we've done and everything that we're going to do, and then writing a movie and all this. We're like, this could be a cool thing. And then we would have done like a Bachelor, Bachelorette, or talked about it, or had all these different ideas. And we had some interest, but no one, pulled the trigger on it. Well, during that time, we also got hit up by a casting director about somebody who was going to live stream weddings, and we were in consideration for that. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much reality TV that's just around us right now. I was like, this is going to happen. And we never heard for anything. So we're like, we're going to do it ourselves. Yeah. And now we've actually got social proof because the video, it's been 5 days, has 1.2 million views. And that would have been and that's just off of organic
episode,
reach.
yeah.
Imagine it airing after a 90 Day Fiance or airing after Fill in the Show. There's already 2 million people watching, And the social proof was there. People wanted to see
Right.
it. So, but it was really funny that we had that other live stream that we almost did that was going to be a celebrity officiant. They were going to bring in celebrities to...
Yeah, I don't know. We never got a name of the show or what it was.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it. But yeah, basically, I'm sure they were just bringing some couples to get married. You know, we were definitely up for it. And
but that's what I like about it, though. That's why, and we say it all the time. I spent from 2006 till today banging on doors for acting jobs, for writing jobs, for everything. You have so many gatekeepers.
Yeah.
And as soon as we saw the power of social media, that's why we wanted to go full-time into content creation, because we go, this is the best of both worlds. We love marketing, we love branding, we love sales. Why not use the marketing, branding, and sales for ourselves? And instead of writing, directing, and acting, knocking on doors, we just write, direct ourselves, market, brand, and then sell. You know, once we can shoot a movie or something, like do our own selling.
Yeah.
So we were like, this is the perfect thing. But I love that we don't have to, like, they all said no. And then our video in 5 days does over 1 million views, which is a successful pilot for a reality show.
yeah. Well, then the irony, too, is one of my contacts actually reached out, I think it was like 2 days ago. And they were just like, hey, I'm just waiting to hear back from my colleagues. Like originally when we were talking about becoming Mr. and Mrs. Smith,
Yeah.
who had the pitch deck and everything, I go, what are the odds and energy of the world that's now happening when we got married? So you just never know. I mean, you got to always keep going and keep doing it. And now that you mentioned, we do have the social proof. So if that's an avenue that we continue to pursue, we'd obviously have to change up a little bit of the content, but but there's plenty, you know.
Well, the catch-22 with it is we using the getting married during a pandemic, planning all of this. There was a show there.
Yeah,
it would have worked.
yeah.
And we were going to piggyback off of. We don't need to worry about season 2, because if season 1 is a success, all of that attention from Bravo or MTV or those viewers would have moved onto our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Sure.
Then you have a wildly successful business if you have 1 million people over there.
Yeah.
So then we would have financed our film. We could have hired a team of 4 or 5 people. I mean, it would have just been, season 2 would have just been Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you know. So we're still doing that, but we're doing it on our own.
Yeah.
But somebody asked too, this is all kind of blended in, about if we got our wedding sponsored. And we only reached out for a couple deals.
Yeah.
And the only reason I pulled back is, as much as I'm like a little cocky about it now, because I'm like, see, we were right.
Right.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know. In my heart, I go, we'll get 1 million. But if we don't, then you feel like an a-hole. So we did go to one company and reach out, who was a wedding website. And, you know, we asked for like a huge chunk of money, because we're like, we're going to get 1 million views.
Well,
so
she
the
asked
industry,
her rate, and we told her the industry standard. And
so if we would have gotten 1 million views, I think the sponsor would have been a very, very nice paycheck. But then I was like, I don't want to keep reaching out, because I'm going to have pressure that if this doesn't, what if it flops and does 30,000, which is still amazing. But what if it doesn't do 1 million, and someone, I would feel like then we'd have to give money back or something.
No, I mean,
but it would have worked.
You'd be paid less. But I think ultimately what pulled us back from it is we were like, this is our wedding day. There's already so much stress going into it, that we both at the same time, after the first email, were like, let's just not mess with this. Let's just do our thing. Like, we can deal with sponsorships later. I just didn't want the stress of it, because there's already so much stress going into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So that's why we kind of pulled back. But yeah, thank you. Because you know, I just lost the question now. Where the hell did it go?
Lost the question. Oh yeah, let me double check.
Oh yeah, did you all have a sponsored wedding? If not, it should have been. Well, thank you.
Aww. Yeah, thank you everyone though for all of the kind words, the messages, like everything. You guys are just the heartbeat of why we do all of this, and it just meant the absolute world. Like, still in awe. Just, you guys rock. We love you so much.
And we just really appreciate you. So we'll be back next week, and I think we're going to be dropping a few more videos in between as well. But thank you. Have a good week, everyone, and we will talk to you later.